Hey guys, today we're going to do the unboxing and overview of the Onyx XM5. So this is a digital audio player that originally came out, I think about 2 years ago. And yeah, I've had my eye on it for a while because it's actually kind of portable and it's extremely powerful. Also has a flagship ES9039 Pro DAC inside of it. I actually found this one on HeadFi, and this one is a modded version, and I got it for about 500 bucks, which I thought was an okay deal because usually it retails brand new for about $740 US, and that's without mods. So let me give you a rundown of the specs of this one and the mods, actually. So yes, the DAC chip is the ES9039 Pro, which is the new flagship ESS Saver DAC chip. The CPU inside of it, or the platform inside of it, is an Ingenic X2000, and it has a 3-inch OLED touchscreen, which is nice because most DAPs these days don't have OLED, but this one does. So both the XM2 and the XM5 have OLED. For some reason, the XM10 does not have OLED. I don't know why. But yeah, this one does have OLED, which is nice, 720p resolution. And the output power is up to 1100 milliwatts actually. So it's over 1 watt of output power, which is quite powerful for something that's of this size and price. And yeah, 7,000 milliamp hour battery, which should be about 12 hours of battery life. Has Bluetooth 5.2 and supports LDAC and aptX HD. So I was interested in this because of its small size and the crazy amount of output power it has. I talked about in my XM2 review how that one was basically a pocket rocket because it's like 800 milliwatts of power and something that's like extremely small, right? The XM2 is a newer device actually, and this is kind of the bigger brother of the XM2. It's slightly bigger actually, and also slightly more output power. And also, this one is modded by NPaudio, who I don't know if they still do not mods or not, but they used to do a lot of Sony Walkman mods. Okay, so the mods are 1447 microfarad Kemet Ultra Low ESR, 433 microfarad Kemet Ultra Low ESR, 330 microfarad Kemet Ultra Low ESR at the power stage, 1.1 microfarad Kemet SMR film at power stage, 450 microfarad audio note cassette, and 7 ICs added copper shielding. And the 3.5 millimeter is blocked because of the extra mods. Well, I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but supposedly it should be better audio quality. And yeah, hopefully it is. I'll take a listen. So yeah, and this does come with a leather case as well, which you can take a look at. But yeah, this is the box for it. Onyx is owned by Shanling, by the way. So that's a Chinese company. Onyx, the brand, originally is from the UK. Now, I don't know the exactly like what happened between Onyx and Shanling, because it seems like if you look at the Onyx UK website, they kind of put down Shanling and talk bad things about Chinese products, but technically they do still have an agreement, I guess, so that Shanling can license the Onyx name. Usually they use the Onyx name for their more pure audiophile products, I would say. Like they use their Shanling brand, of course, as well, and the Onyx brand generally for like more premium, like audio only focused stuff, I guess, because just judging from the Onyx level of stuff, because like their Onyx DAPs tend to use just pure audio-focused operating systems compared to their Shanling products, which use like either HiBOS or like Android. So yeah, these ones like have a more pure operating system for audio, I guess. And yeah, it's Qualcomm aptX, aptX HD, LDAC support for Bluetooth. Onyx OS touch system, which I have used before on the XM2, the newer XM2 actually, so I think I should be familiar with that. It's a pretty nice operating system. It's fairly responsive. LDAC aptX Bluetooth streaming, DLNA AirPlay, NAS streaming, CPU is X2000, ES9039 Pro with FPGA, 7,000 milliamp hour battery, 3-inch 720 by 720 OLED. They should actually put OLED here because that was actually a missed opportunity for marketing, because compared to a lot of the other digital audio players out there, even the $3,000, $4,000 Aston and Kearns don't have OLED. So the fact that they have OLED, they should have put that here for marketing. Anyways, the original company is Onyx Electronics in the UK. But like I said, I don't think they actually have a very positive opinion of Chinese companies like Shanling. They just happen to be licensing their name out. But they, yeah, if you look on their website, they don't talk well about Chinese companies or Shanling at all. but the actual address you can see here is in China, and made in China, obviously. Okay, let's take a look. And yeah, this is actually made by Shanling, because yeah, all electronics are made by China, so almost all electronics are made by China. Very premium box compared to Shanling usually. Okay, and here's the actual DAP itself. It's fairly hefty actually. Like, it's not too heavy, but it definitely feels really premium in the hand, which is nice. And we can take a look at the accessories here. So let's see what we get here. Okay, so the Overture, they have some name for all their devices. Like the XM2 is called the Toccata, and XM10 is called the Waltz, and then XM5 is the Overture. So yeah, the names of parts here. So basically it'll tell you about everything on the DAP here, and should be self-explanatory. Like, I don't think DAPs are hard to use or anything. Screen locking. Power on off, screen locking, screen rotation, custom function button. Whoops, previous, next, play and pause, volume control, charging, micro SD card slot. Supports up to 2 terabytes. That's quite a bit. Headphone output, USB port. Okay. Firmware update can be over the air, micro SD. I think the only thing they use Wi-Fi for, I think, would be to stream Tidal or for over the air updates. I don't think they support many other streaming apps. Yeah, aptX HD. Okay, invest in Chinese. What else do we have here? Warranty. Okay. Well, that's it for that. I think it might have included a microfiber cloth originally. I don't know. This unit is technically secondhand, but it's in very good condition. Okay. And this accessory, I think, is just a USB-C cable, right? Yep. So you got your typical USB-A to USB-C cable here, as expected. All right. Okay, and we can take a look at the leather case as well. See how good quality it is. I think usually if you bought it from some retailer, they would throw this in for free, but normally it's an extra. Okay, this is the leather case for it, which is in good condition as well. Yep. So yeah, it's Onyx. A nice. This is kind of like for dissipating heat at the back. Yeah, it's actually similar to the case I got for the Onyx XM2, but it's a nice leather, black leather case. So yeah, no issues with that one, should be fine. Okay, let's take a look at the player itself. So a 3-inch 720 by 720 touchscreen here, which is OLED, as I mentioned, which is nice. You got, so unlike a lot of other players, you don't get the navigation buttons on the side, rather you get here on the front of the player, which is kind of an old school thing dating back to the 2000s. Yeah, a lot of, you know, the iPod Creative Zen type players would have this kind of interface on the front here, because usually modern DAPs will have it on the side, right? So you got previous track, play pause, next track, and the custom function button, which I think by default should be mapped to go home, as it is on the XM2. And then you have the volume dial right here. Volume, which is fine. It feels fine. It's not as great as an Astel and Kern dial or even the Low2 dials, but it feels nice. It's interesting they have it on the bottom instead of the top or the side. Usually for a digital audio player you have it on the top or side, but Onyx went with the bottom here for the dial, which is unconventional. 3.5, as mentioned, is normally available but blocked due to the fact that this one is modded and only has the 4.4, which outputs over 1 watt of power, which is pretty nice. You can also press in this button right here for the actual power button. So the actual volume knob doubles as the power button, something that they're doing in other DAPs like the Aston Kern SP4000 now. You have this kind of rugged type of grip here on the side. Looks kind of industrial that way. And then on the back you have this. Yeah, XM5, Onyx Electronics UK, made in China. No reference to Shanling here, but of course it is actually made by Shanling, technically. yeah, cool. If you're to compare this, and I do want to compare to some other DAPs in this video. So first of all, I do want to compare to the XM2, but I don't have the XM2 anymore. But I will do a sound comparison test later on in the video where I will have the XM2 there for comparison. Also the Opus number 2 as well, which has an ES9018 DAC inside of it. I will put in sound comparison test video, don't have it anymore. And the Aston Kern SC100 as well, which also has the ES9038 Pro. I will put that in the comparison test because I don't have that anymore. But here's some other DAPs I think are a good point of comparison. So this is about a $740 DAP here, modded actually, so technically more, but let's just say it's 740 bucks. The Death and Ray DTR1 Plus, this is a $1,000 DAP here that I thought punched pretty far above its price range. Sounds more like a $2,000 DAP. I'll compare it to this thing. This is also a pure music player, does not have much streaming or anything, and it's even more compact and smaller than the XM5. So I really like the size of the Death and Ray, actually. Really nice size, and just a little small, cute, compact player here. Of course, the touchscreen interface and the operating system of the XM5 will be better, but just for like a pure audio DAP, I want to do a comparison to the Death and Ray, but also the Crystal QP2R as well, which is also another pure audio player DAP. Doesn't do any streaming or anything. This was $1,300 back in 2018, right? And it sounds pretty good for the price as well. Also punches above its price. And this one has an AK4490, as does this one. They both have AK4490 chips inside of it. Then I also want to compare it to another modded DAP that I have. So this is the Sony Walkman WM1A. It's been modded with WM1Z firmware, actually. So this one would be a pretty nice comparison too. This originally retailed for $1,000 around there in 2017, I think. And also pure music player, because this is the first generation, I guess, WM1A, the second generation as Android. But this is more of a pure music player. Plus I modded it to WM1Z specs, firmware actually, not specs. So it's got WM1Z firmware on it. So that would be a cool comparison as well. And then finally, this is a bit of a weird one in terms of appearance, but the Orioles DPS-L2, because this one has a ES9038 Pro DAC inside of it, which would be a nice comparison to the ES9039 Pro DAC instead of the XM5. So yeah, these will be the DAPs I will compare it to. So yep, stay tuned guys, I'll compare it to these DAPs. Actually, I'm going to load up the operating system, and then we're going to check out the operating system, and then I'm going to give you guys my sound impressions of the XM5 modded, and yeah, tell you guys how I think compared to these other DAPs. So stay tuned. Alright, so now I've done some testing on all these DAPs, and my test equipment was the Ice Labs Spectrumica, which is a really nice $2,000 IEM. This is the one I've been listening to recently. It's quite good, very energetic, and also balanced sounding. So yeah, first of all, let's talk about the UI. So I'm going to turn this thing on and show you guys the UI here. Pretty much the same as the XM2 if you guys have seen my XM2 video. The XM5 actually came out first, but it's the exact same operating system here. So you have access to your folder here, which is basically going to be just the SD card. Yeah, this one doesn't have any internal storage, so just the SD card here. You can yeah, just access all the folders on here. And I put the function button as home. You can set it to other things as well, but I just set it to go home. And playback setting, you can change things here. This is also in the settings as well, but this is like a nice little shortcut. So gain, you can choose low, medium, or high. So yeah, for the Spectrumica, it's like an IEM that requires a little bit of power, a little bit more than most IEMs, but not like too much because it's still an IEM, right? So yeah, I probably put it on medium gain here, because on high gain, like I put the volume at like 20, and that's already like a lot. So this thing definitely has a lot of power on tap. Digital filters, you can change it to a minimum phase, linear phase, apodizing, fast roll off, slow roll off. All these other filters, I leave it to the fast roll off here. And EQ, you can change your EQ as well. Yep, so you got your 10-band EQ here that you get with most digital audio players. And of course you can choose a custom one. You can have up to 3 custom EQ settings, or some of the predetermined ones, which I usually never use. Because yeah, the thing is, like, I don't listen to just one genre, right? And I tend to want to make my own EQ if I have to, but generally I don't. Play mode, list, play, repeat track, shuffle, or repeat all. Your settings here, pretty standard. Max volume is 100, so you have 100 stops. So this is what it looks like, right? All the way up to 100 stops of volume. But yeah, generally, like, this is a pretty powerful DAP, so you most likely will not need to go to 100. Default volume, change that if you want. DSD output mode, I don't use DSDs, but you can change D2P, DOP, or native. Yep, and then system settings, you can change the language here. Wireless settings, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, you can do that here. Sync link, that's available as well. I'm not too sure what that is though. Network services, you got DLNA, AirPlay, and Wi-Fi file transfer. That's pretty cool. Display setting, you can change the brightness, screen off time, lock screen. Idle, change the sleep timer or standby shutdown. In vehicle mode, so it's like a car mode, which is pretty cool. Not many DAPs actually have that. Buttons lock. Buttons lock, and change that on if you want to lock the buttons. It's basically, yeah, locking everything, having like a software lock mode. Screen rotation, you should rotate the screen if you want to. I don't know when you would need to do that, but you can do that. Custom function key. So this is what this function button does. I changed it to go back to the main menu, but you can choose screen rotation, button lock, lock screen, gain, or favorites. System update, you can update from the TF card, which is an offline update, or an online update with the network. Format your card if you want, reset settings if you want, and about, which is the firmware card capacity here. Okay, Tidal here, you have Tidal, that's like the only streaming service support you get here. So if you have Spotify or Qobuz, Deezer, Apple Music, tough luck, it does not have that here. Album, go by album here if you want. This is, sometimes I use that. Go by album. Yep, and just scroll through it like this, and you can add some albums to your favorites, or favorite it, or delete. So your options, there's your settings there, or play all. All songs, you can just go through all your songs here if you want. They have a search functionality, which is good. Not all DAPs have search functionality. So yeah, if I want to see beyond, and it's a full QWERTY keyboard, because like there are some DAPs like KN-N8 which has the T9 keyboard, unfortunately. But yeah, this one is a full QWERTY when you search, which is modern Android type of search, so it's good. So yeah, search works. You can sort them based on that. This is to go to the music actually. Pause it for now. And then this is to do some options like favorite, add to playlist, or delete files. You could do a fast scroll here, and it's very responsive, so I have no problems with the Onyx operating system. I've always found the Onyx operating system to be quite fluid and responsive, which is good. Easy to use, and you can do a shortcut to your now playing track right here. So for the now playing track, let's see, we start playing here. Whoops. Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure the hardware buttons are working here. Yeah, okay, maybe it was just a bit delayed there. But yeah, we've got a FLAC file here. You can see the 96 kilohertz FLAC bitrate and everything here, the album cover. You can favorite here. You can change the playback setting to repeat or shuffle, or yeah, sequence. And here you can do A/B repeat. This is like, what is it, multiple speed? You can speed it up if you want, which is interesting. Add to playlist, download the cover and lyrics, look up the album, look up the artist, or delete the song. Bunch of settings there. And this is the full playlist for the album. Yeah. And then if you want to go to a screen showing the, oops, let's play this again. And you want to go to the screen showing some retro look, like the VU meter, then you got that here. So yeah, I mean, some other players do that too, like Aston and Kern. They got some VU meter interface. If you just want to make it look a bit more vintage or retro, you can do that. So yeah, and then you can see the lyrics, if there's lyrics, and then you can find more information about the file size, album encoding, genres. Yep, see all that here. Right, then you see artist. This is the one probably I use the most, is I usually go by artist. And yeah, this OLED screen is really nice. As you guys can see, it's yeah, it's got the pure blacks, so that's pretty nice when you're playing music with like a lot of album art and stuff. Definitely looks better on OLED. I wish there would be more digital audio players with OLED displays. And got genres here, which I don't use too much. I don't use genres too much, but you got it. High-res files, if you only want high-res files like FLACs and stuff, DSDs, then you have that here, waves. My favorites is any song that you favorited, of course. Update library is you can scan for your music files once you enter something, of course. Recent is your recently played. Recently added is the ones that are just newly scanned. Playlist here is just any playlist that you made, and you can also if you don't like any of the stuff, you can remove it too. Like for example, I don't use titles, so I don't need that. You can remove that. I don't use genres, so I don't need that. So yeah, you can just kind of customize it that way. So yeah, all in all, I do like the Onyx OS. I think it's pretty easy to use. The UI is very responsive. It's got search functionality. Yeah, overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the Onyx OS. No complaints there about the operating system. The actual player itself is nice to hold. It's actually it's heavier than you think, basically. It's like, this doesn't look like a big player, but it is definitely a little bit thick. And a little bit more on the heavy side, I would say. Not like a brick like the WM1Z or anything, but it's heavier than it looks. This thing is still like a little small brick. And yeah, it has a lot of power on it. 1 watt on tap. Okay, so the sound quality, how does this thing sound? So after testing the same tracks with this compared to the other DAPs here, I can only comment based on the fact that this is a modded version, so I don't even have the chance to try out 3.5 because it's blocked. I can only try out the 4.4. But yes, first of all, this thing has a lot of power, 1 watt of power, over 1 watt. So if you have anything that's like really hard to drive, planar magnetics, it can drive even most of those, unless you have something like a Sesvara, right? It can drive almost all the planar magnetics on the market. Almost every full-size headphone I am on the market would be driven fine by this. It's just, yeah, a really powerful player. The actual sound quality, and I can only comment on the NPaudio modded version because that's the one I have. I don't have the original. It sounds pretty fantastic, to be honest. It's got this warm neutral type of sound to it. The tonality does lean warmer, but it's not like super warm or anything like an R2R DAC, but it does tend to lean warmer, but I would call it warm neutral. And yeah, technically, like resolution and musicality and everything, like this is up there with a lot of the old flagship DAPs. It might be up there with them or even beat them. Like I had the KN8, that was a $3,000 DAP from 2018. I think this probably is on par or beating the KN8. Same thing with the Low2 Pod Gold Touch that I have, that I often use. That's another flagship $3,000 DAP from 2018. I think this is pretty much on par with that. And compared to modern DAPs, I would say this is like, I had the Aston Kern SP3000M, which is like $3,000 DAP. I had the copper nickel version, which is very neutral sounding, but also highly resolving. It's about 80% of that, I would say, in terms of the technicalities. Like the resolution, the resolving power and everything, it's roughly about around 80% of the Aston Kern SP3000M, which is impressive. Compared to N7, it can probably be a little bit better than the N7, I would say. Keeps that same musicality, but the everything musicality, yeah, not the musicality, resolution power. Resolving power, soundstage and everything is a little bit better than the N7. So yeah, I'm only commenting on the modded version, of course. Don't know how different the original is, but yeah, in my experience, this thing punches pretty far above its price. I think it sounds about as good as, yeah, probably like a $2,000 DAP, I would say, even though this thing technically retails for $700. But again, if you mod it, it'll be more than that. This thing, I don't know how much it was modded, but probably double that, maybe. The NPaudio mods I know are quite expensive, but if you buy the original, I don't see it being too far off, you know, the original. So maybe the mods do make it sound a little bit better, but I can't imagine it completely changing it that much. So if the modded version sounds this good. I can imagine the original sounds pretty good as well, and also punches above its price range as well. And I wouldn't be surprised because the XM2 that I tried, which was stock, punched pretty far above its price. Like that was a $400, $500 DAP that sounded as good as $1,000 DAPs, and this one being $700. Yeah, and the modded version sounds pretty much as good as modern $2,000 DAPs, which is pretty impressive, and up to the standards of old $3,000 flagships as well. So yeah, let's compare it to some of these other ones. So I did listen to the same songs on all these. So I'll do a big comparison here for the pure audio players. Okay, so first of all, out of these, I would say the worst sounding one, and I use the term worst like relatively, because all these sound pretty good. I wouldn't be keeping all these DAPs if they didn't sound good, right? All these sound good. I'm just saying, relatively speaking, the weakest is probably the QP2R, QP2R, and the Death and Ray Prelude. Both of these still sound really good, of course. I can only comment on the balanced output on the QP2R because I think the unbalanced sounds quite a bit worse. But yeah, the balanced output needs a 2.5 adapter. So it has 2.5, and the Death and Ray doesn't even have a balanced, it just has 3.5. Both of these are leaning more warm, I would say. So this one, the balanced leans more neutral warm, and the Death and Ray leans just more warm in general. But the AK4490 decks inside of both of these are, I think, more apparent when you compare it to the ES9038 and ES9038 and the ES9039 Pro inside of these two. Compared to these two, yeah, the the AK4490 is definitely more on the warmer side and not quite as highly resolving because it's not even the flagship AK DAC. It's like a lower tier AK DAC. So that's only apparent if you compare it side by side with these flagship ESS Saber DACs. But yeah, listening to these two, they're quite warm and musical sounding. And overall technicalities are less than these guys. So I would say, yeah, out of these ones probably, they sound on the warmer side and also on the more musical side, but are not as highly resolving compared to these ones. So yeah, and these are fairly close, I would say. The QP2R on the balanced and the Death and Ray on the unbalanced, because that's the only thing it has, sounds pretty much on the same level. They both have AK4490 chips inside of it, and both punch above their price, to be honest. This is 1,000 and 1,300 back in the day. They sound still pretty good, but you know, competing against these ones, yeah, these are not quite as resolving, but they are more warmer and quote unquote more musical sounding in some ways. So anyways, I just wanted to say, like, these are probably the weakest. These two are probably the weakest out of these five in terms of just pure sound quality and resolution. Next up is, so the thing is, the WM1A without the firmware mods would probably be lower, a slightly lower tier than these two, but because of the WM1Z mod, which is just a firmware mod, like I just downloaded the Mr. Walkman firmware mod to bring it up to WM1Z specs. So basically, let's take a look here. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, it says it thinks it's the WM1Z, and the thing is, funny enough, WM1Z, that's a flagship Sony DAP from 2016, right? Cost around $3,000 back then. If you mod the firmware of WM1A, which is just a free download, really, and you just mod it for free. You change the firmware to WM1Z, and this thing will become 90% as good as WM1Z. I'm serious. So this thing sounds about 90% as good. Not 100%, because there are stuff like in the WM1Z, like the copper chassis and the internal Kimber cable wiring that's a bit different. But just software-wise, I changed the firmware to WM1Z for the WM1A, and it sounds honestly 90% as good. It's so much more musical, more warmer, and after that mod, this thing sounds clearly better than these two. Without the mods, it does not sound as good as these two, but after I modded it to WM1Z firmware, it sounds clearly better than the Death and Ray and the QP2R. So I would put these ahead of those two, and it sounds so much warmer and more musical now, and yeah, just everything just sounds better overall. So all the songs, the vocals just kind of jump out at you, the notes bloom better, they're more present. I know it's just a firmware change, but it's crazy how much it changes the sound quality. So yes, you can mod your WM1A. If you have a WM1A, which cost like $1,000 brand new back in the day, and now you can get it for like $500. If you get one used and you mod it to WM1Z firmware for free, you just download it from the Mr. Walkman site. It sounds pretty much like a flagship DAP, 90% of WM1Z, and then it sounds better than these two. Then compared to the Oriolist DPS-L2, this one has an ES9038 Pro. This one actually sounds really good as well. Very highly detailed and resolving, but definitely more on the neutral side. So very neutral sounding, as you would expect from the ES9038 Pro. Like all the DAPs I've heard with it, like the Aston Kern SE100, and everything basically that had the DAC in it, it sounds fairly neutral. And I put this around the same quality as a WM1A firmware modded, so these two are around the same, but both are clearly at a higher level than this. So Quizstyle QP2R, Death and Ray Prelude, as great as they are, they don't sound quite as good as these two. Like I said, this one after I modded it, and then DPS-L2 with the ES9038 Pro. Sony, of course, uses their own DAC chip, the S-Master HX. So both of these sound clearly more highly resolving or whatever, and like more detailed compared to these two. Although these two are definitely. Actually, these three are definitely more warmer and more musical sounding than this. This doesn't sound very musical, and it sounds a little bit clinical, I would say, which is, I think in my review of this one, I said how it's like, it's a shame because I think because of COVID, Oriolist had to put the ES9038 Pro on it, but like, ideally, they would use an AKM chip or even R2R if they had the resources, and make the sound a little bit more warmer and musical because of the form factor and everything. It's trying to get like the retro Sony Walkman form factor. It's a little bit jarring to hear something that sounds so neutral and detailed out of this thing. I think if it had something like the AK4490 chip that was inside these two, then that would be a little bit more appropriate to how it looks. But it's a little bit jarring to see it look like a Sony Walkman, but then sounds super modern and detailed and neutral. But it is what it is. Definitely this one sounds very warm and musical because of the WM1Z mod, but even without the 1Z mod stock, it sounds like warm neutral-ish, I would say. So without the firmware mod, I think this would like go right here. It would still be warm and like musical sounding, not quite as much as after the mods, but it would also be below this in like sound quality. It would probably be the worst out of these in sound quality. After the WM1Z mod, the Mr. Walkman mod, then it goes right here in between, on the similar quality to Oriolist DPS-L2. Now, what about the XM5? Okay, so the XM5 sounds also warm neutral-ish, I would say on the same level as, actually not quite as musical as the WM1Z, but similar to WM1A level in terms of like warm neutral musicality. Or you guys can kind of think of it similar to QP2R as well, because QP2R on the balanced is a little bit warm musical as well. Warm neutral actually. Death and Ray Prelude is a little bit warmer than all these actually. So I put it here because it's a little bit warmer than all these. And to be honest, the firmware modded WM1A in terms of warmth would be over there as well. So in terms of tonality, Death and Ray and WM1Z modded WM1A would be the warmest. And then after that would come the XM5 and the QP2R, both of which are warm neutral. This one, in terms of detail, resolution, technicalities, it's probably the best out of all these, to be honest. But it's hard because after the firmware mod for this, I think it's this WM1A is just so good. So I would say it's almost a toss-up for me between these two. The WM1Z modded WM1A versus the NPaudio modded XM5. It's going to be a toss-up. It's just this one is a little bit more musical sounding still. Both are on the warm side. And then DPS-L2 is still very highly resolving. It's just clearly more neutral sounding than all these. That's pretty much my opinions on these guys. When it comes to just pure sound quality, resolving power and soundstage and detail, it would probably be like this. Death and Ray and QP2R, and then the WM1Z modded WM1A. If it was not modded, it would actually go at the end here, but it is modded, so it goes here. And at the same level goes the DPS-L2, and then I think a little bit ahead of these guys would go the NPaudio modded XM5. Again, I don't know what the stock one would go, but the NPaudio XM5 is the best out of all these in terms of just pure sound quality. Well, what about tonality? Yep, tonality, then Death and Ray would be the warmest, actually, out of all these. And then WM1A, actually WM1Z modded 1A would actually be tied to with a decent rate for warmth. And then QP2R and XM5 would be tied for warmth. After that, it's a little bit less warm, more leaning towards neutral, and then just purely neutral tonality goes to the Aureolus after that. So in terms of tonality, it would be like this. So from warmth to the most neutral. Yeah, so and then QP2R and XM5 being kind of in between in terms of that tonality. So yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of power, this has the most power out of all of them. So that's actually no contest. Yeah, like actually it's close because Crystal does have a lot of power, but it's just deceptively powerful because it's current amp technology. So this one does have a lot of power on it as well, but I think the XM5 still wins. The 1 watt or 1100 milliwatts of power on this is just pretty incredible. So definitely XM5 will win in terms of power, with the Crystal QP2R coming in second with that current amplification type of technology. Which outputs a lot more power than you think. I think it's like roughly equivalent to like 700 milliwatts, I would say, on that. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you're looking for just pure sound quality, resolving power, I think XM5 or the NPaudio modded XM5 is probably the best out of all these. If you're looking for tonality, this is like warm neutral-ish, not the warmest, but not the most neutral. It's really in between. And if you're looking for power, this probably has the most power out of all these. So yeah, you're looking for something that's powerful, that sounds really good, and has a nice warm neutral type of tonality to it. Check out the XM5. It's also got really nice build quality, and the operating system and UI is really slick and smooth as well. So overall, just a really nice player. Really impressed. And again, this is the NPaudio modded version. I know it's not really easy to find, but this is the one I have for review. So that's all I can comment on. I do not have the stock one. So yeah, coming up next will be the sound comparison test, where I will compare the sounds of all these and a few other players I didn't get to talk about because I don't have them anymore, like the Opus number 2 and the Aston Current SC100. Yeah, if you stream your music, then this thing will only have titles, so it's not really for streamers too much. Mostly for offline music, I would say. But if you have your music offline, then yeah, this is great. It's a little bit different than some of the other players, right? Like the appearance-wise, like having the volume dial on the bottom, the jacks on the bottom, the SD card on top, and the interface, everything is kind of, all your media playback controls are in the front here, which is, yeah, not typical of a digital audio player. The operating system is pretty good. It's very responsive. Having that OLED screen is always really nice as well. So yeah, not too much to complain about here, actually. So I think it's just all around a great sounding player for the price. You know, you pay $700 for this brand new. You can probably find it used for yeah, around like $400, $500, I would say. Yeah, it's a nice pickup, and it sounds better than a lot of other music players around its same price, and probably competes with a lot of DAPs like twice the price, right? And at least for my modded version, I think it sounds as good as any $2,000 digital audio player. So yeah, overall, it's a really nice player, and nice build quality and everything. Not too much to complain about with this one. The only thing is that it doesn't have streaming. So yeah, if you're a streaming guy, which I'm not, I'm happy with it because I listen mostly offline. But if you're a streaming person, then there's probably better options. But if you're offline guy, then this is one of the best like pure music digital audio players on the market right now for the price. So yeah, like no Android, but if you just want to listen to music and have a very solid, smooth operating system, and it sounds really, really good, and it's got a nice amount of power, one of the most powerful DAPs for its size and price. Yeah, this is a nice one to pick up. Forgot to mention the fact that you can just pull down from the top here, and then it's like an Android phone where you can have some quick shortcuts. So you have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, button locks, medium gain, you can change it to high gain or low gain. Yeah, so you can change the gain settings there pretty quickly. And then USB storage, you can change from this to using it as a USB DAC pretty quickly. You can change, you can use it for USB storage and USB DAC and USB audio. So you have 3 choices there. Powered out or line out, you can change that quickly here as well. And playback setting, that's just kind of a shortcut to what you already see on the main menu here. And then lastly, system setting will be a shortcut to the to the system settings. So you don't have to just press it here. You can just swipe down from the top. You have quick access to it, and you can adjust the brightness here as well. And yeah, I think in terms of sound quality, another player I forgot to talk about is the NPaudio. That's a $2,000 player with the same DAC chip, actually, the ES9039 Pro, as the Onyx XM5. So I think even though the NPaudio has more power, it has like 2.5 watts, which is insane for a player of that size. I think the modded XM5 sounds roughly about equal to the NPaudio, I would say, because that's, yeah, about $2,000 player, and has the same chip and has even more power than the XM5, but I would say the modded XM5 sounds about as good as the NPaudio. So that tells you how much this player punches above its price range, really. Honestly, this thing is so good for the size and the price. Like, it might actually replace my daily driver DAP, which is the low toggle touch. So the low toggle touch has been my main kind of daily driver reference DAP because it's definitely on the neutral side of things, and the UI is really, really good. It's like blazing fast. I can, like, you know, just search for anything here, and it'll immediately show up. And yeah, the UI is just really fast, and the size is good and everything. Sound quality is nice. But yeah, the XM5 actually, it comes close to replacing it, not quite, because this is the modded version with the 3.5 is blocked. And I do sometimes use the 3.5 for like line out sometimes. So yeah, I do kind of need the 3.5 sometimes, unfortunately. But yeah, if not for that, this thing might actually replace my low toggle touch, you know? Yeah, just the thing is, yeah, I might sometimes use that. This is 500 milliwatts each, so it actually does not have as much power as the XM5 does. But this thing really has everything. It's got the smooth operating system. It's got the search functionality that I really like, and yeah, it's physical controls and everything. I mean, it's not the best having it here, and it's, yeah, a little bit small, sometimes can be hard to hit. That's the one thing, is like if it's in your pocket, right? I can kind of hit, I can hit it in my pocket if it's on the side, but if it's on the front, not so much. You got to take it out and hit it. But that's kind of a nitpick. It has a lot of power on tap, right? Over 1 watt, and it sounds really good, especially for the size and the price, right? And yeah, if you compare the size, right, this thing is pretty portable. Where to my low toggle touch here, which, by the way, this is a $3,000 DAP from 2018, right? Yeah, it's pretty much similar in terms of thickness and size. It's, yeah, almost the same size, actually. But yeah, this thing is more powerful, actually. Has a newer chip. This thing has an old AK4497 flagship DAC inside of it. This has a newer flagship DAC 9039 Pro, which is actually a bit more musical sounding than the ES9038 Pro, to be honest. Like, compared to the ES9038 Pro that I've tried on several other DAPs before, like the AKSC100 and the Orioles DPS-L2, that sounds fairly neutral, almost like clinical and analytical at times, whereas the ES9039 chip inside here sounds a bit warmer and not quite as neutral, a little bit more musical sounding as well. Doesn't lose any of the detail, so I do like the 9039 Pro chip inside of this thing in the way they implemented it. Sound quality, like I said, it's fairly close between the two. Low 2 is fairly neutral as well, but this one actually is a bit more warmer sounding, to be honest. Both kind of have this musicality to it, but yeah, XM5 actually is a little bit more warmer sounding, which is kind of surprising because this is an AK chip, which AK usually is more warmer sounding than ESS chips, but in this case, I think the XM5 is actually a little bit more warmer. And both have quite similar levels of sound quality, I would say, especially because this is the modded version, right? And this one costs a lot less, but then again, I did buy it secondhand, you know. But even after, like, you mod it with full price, it's still cheaper than the full price of the low toggle touch. Yeah, I do like the volume wheel on the Poggle Touch a little bit better. It's so clicky. The XM5, not quite as clicky, but that's a minor detail, you know. Anyways, all I'm saying is that the XM5 is actually so good, it can almost replace my Poggle Touch, if only they did not block the 3.5, because I do use that for line out sometimes. If not for that, this might actually replace it, because it's just that good in terms of just everything. Build quality, the size, the UI, The sound, of course, power output, the screen. This is an OLED display that Low-2 is not, so that's another advantage this actually has over it. Yeah, I mean, also if I wanted to nitpick even more, this thing only accepts full-size SD card slot. So it's only full-size SD, which is not as common anymore. This thing is micro, which is a little bit more common. Yeah, overall, what can I say? XM5 really punches above its price, especially this modded one. Yeah, sound quality-wise, these two are pretty close. I would say the Low-2 leans, like, it's just straight up neutral. It's not too bright or warm, whereas the XM5 is just a little bit more warm. That's really the major difference in terms of sound quality, because otherwise the actual like detail and resolution, resolving ability, soundstage is pretty similar between these two. But that's just that tonality difference there. Physical wise, right, they're both fairly portable, which is nice. They're both built really well. UI wise, they're both pretty fast. Neither support streaming. They're both offline. Actually, this one does technically support streaming, only Tidal though. But yeah, you have that. This one definitely has better Bluetooth support, LDAC and aptX HD. XM5 actually has more power as well, also has a better display because it's OLED. However, the display is not quite as large as the Pog Gold Touch, but yeah, I think that's not too big of a deal because you're just talking about music, right? Not watching videos or anything on this thing. Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, the XM5 is actually better. It's got more power. It's got a better display. It's got a better Bluetooth. It actually has some streaming capabilities. Yeah, build quality, both good. Sound quality, both good. Yeah. Yeah, the XM5 actually is very, very impressive. So yeah, UI quality, both are very fast and responsive, and both pure music related operating systems, I would say. No Android here. But yeah, both are probably some of the best UI I've experienced in a DAP. So no complaints there. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed with the XM5, honestly, especially for the price. That's $700 for the stock version. I mean, I can't see the stock version being that much different than the modded one. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is like, this thing is a pretty fantastic value.
The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting and you're right here by my side, and the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I never knew you could hide moonlight in your hands till the night I held you. The sun is setting and you're right here by my side. And the movie is playing, but we won't be watching tonight. Every look, every touch makes me wanna give you my heart. I've been crushing on you, baby. Stay right where you are, 'cause I
my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, another road where maybe I could see another side. There, ooh, and then I suddenly see you, ooh, and then I tell you that I need you every single day of my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. Got to get you into my life, into my life. I was alone, I took a ride, didn't know what I would find. There, shop.